Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo, and I am here for yet another Kyoani show. Woo! Exciting! We are here for Kyoukai no Kanata. Of course, we recently finished off Tamako Market, and now we're on to this one. This is like the last sort of big one that I'm looking at. Amagi Brilliant Park exists, and we might watch it. I'm not sure. And there are some other Kyoani shows, but in terms of the Kyoani slot and the shows that I think really like align with that slot's purpose, I think this is pretty much the biggest last one. So that's interesting and maybe a little bit sad, but also pretty cool because onward to new things, maybe. We'll see. I have yet to decide what to do with this slot and all that stuff. Okay, so here's how our pre-discussion is going to work. Usually I like to go through all the things that I know about a show. I know very few things about this show, so instead I'm just going to give you my little spiel. Patreon exists. You can find links in the thing. You can go there and get like early access to the content and get into the Discord channel where you can chat about stuff. It's been pretty lively recently, which has been cool. Because I've been more active and more like getting people to give me feedback and stuff because I'm in a state of trying to figure shit out, basically. Anyway, that's totally unrelated to Kyoukai no Kanata, but yay, context. This is and that was my whole spiel that I was talking about. There's Patreon, it exists. Cool? Cool. This is a 2013 fall show by Kyoto Animation. It is directed by one Taichi Ishidate, who would then go on to direct Violet Evergarden, and has, of course, got, like, script and storyboard and key animation credits on almost every KyoAni show before that, but no direction credits. Minor episode direction credits slipped in there here and there, but Ishidate really sort of, like, bloomed as a director into people's consciousness around Violet Evergarden, because it's fucking Violet Evergarden, like, obviously. But this is sort of Taichi Ishidate's directorial debut on KyoAni shows, and that's totally cool. It is scripted by one Juki Hanada, who we are most familiar with most recently for working on the entire script for Sorayori Motoi Basho, which was a pretty good script for a show, and so that's nice. Although the thing itself is based on like a light novel, and it's more series composition and like trends. I forget the word is, adaptation, there, than actually writing out a script, but that's totally cool. So we're in a light novel-based world that, as far as I know, and here's literally all that I know, there's a pretty cute girl with pinkish hair and glasses who's a really cute Megane girl, and there are lots of gifs of her everywhere. There's gonna be some element of magical realism, because I know that that's, like, part of the tags related to the show. That's all I got. That's literally all that I have. As a 2013 show coming out of KyoAni, that puts us in an interesting place in their, like, timeline of shows, which I went and looked at just for fun. It puts us with, like, Chuni into Tamako, into Free, into this, Kyoukai no Kanata, which then became into Amagi Brilliant Park, and then into Hibike Euphonium, and then things get a little bit more coherent, and we have a better, like, general knowledge of what has come out from KyoAni in the last couple of years. And it's been hit and miss. You know, we had, like, Musaiga and Phantom World, which got pretty panned, I think, and I haven't seen, but maybe I should, I don't know, maybe it's pan-worthy, maybe it's good, and, you know, other more recent things, like Violet, and this. So, this show, in more general contextual cultural knowledge sense, my experience with people talking about this show is that they either stan it as people who are like, dude, this thing is underrated and people don't actually appreciate it because it's got certain flaws, and other people saying like, no, it's got flaws, I hate it, I don't care, which is pretty usual, but it seems to be a little bit more polarizing of a show than other ones. Cool, I guess. Neat, I guess? I don't know. Our last two shows from KyoAni have been, like, a solid bullseye hit with Tamako Market, which I sincerely enjoyed in many ways, in almost every way, and then nailing it with Tamako Love Story to follow that up was just the cherry on the cake, and I highly recommend if you haven't gone and seen those, go watch the Tamako Market reactions. They're pretty okay. And then the show that we watched immediately before that was Chunibyo, which I would say, if we stick with the archery sort of analogy, had like all of the form of a good archery shot, but missed the bullseye by a pretty solid margin. Maybe still on the target, but missed the bullseye by a pretty wide margin. I have a lot of problems with Chunibyo. I don't know if we're gonna have a similar experience to the Chunibyo experience with this show, where it starts out more promising than it ends up, or what's gonna happen, because again, I don't really know. I do know that it's a polarizing show, and we will just take that in stride and become probably polarized onto one side or the other based on our own experiences with it, namely my experiences with it, which you are totally free to argue about in the comments if you think I'm wrong, and that's totally cool, because I'm wrong all the time. It's fine. Beyond that, details that I should just, like, let you know because I saw them and didn't mean to. I see the very first frame of the very first episode, which is episode 1, not episode 0, because apparently episode 0, despite being episode 0, has spoilers for the show and should be watched after the show, so we're not watching episode 0, we're watching episode 1. Great. And I can see the very first frame of it, and that also came with being able to see the title of the episode, which is an intriguing title. It's Carmine, which is the reference to the type of reddish dye that's used, or cochineal, which used to be entirely made from the shells of little beetles, and now can be, like, chemically manufactured as well, but still has lots of stuff around that. I don't know whether we're getting at, like, the something from bugs angle on this or something like that, or like a useful trade good that comes from something kind of creepy, or if it's a reference to something being red, or to dye, or to blood, or to just color. I have no idea. The second thing that I see is that we have, like, this gorgeous skyscape situation with a bunch of clouds, and I haven't seen any frame besides this one, so I don't know what our next camera motion from here is. I would assume that we're going to, like, zoom in and then down into Earth and then reveal our story to some extent. Great. Cool. That's literally all that I know. I just wanted to, full disclosure, I've seen the first frame and I know the title of the episode, which is not a lot. That's everything that I know about Kyoukai no Kanata. Let's change that, by watching the first episode like a normal person does and see if we like it, I guess. Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. Okay, I'm gonna take a sip of tea, and then I'll tell you about beep timers and stuff. Okay. Alright, so there will be 2 versions of this reaction video and every following reaction video. You can find a picture-in-picture video, picture-in-picture version with the video up here, linked in the description down there, and a timer-based version which will be up on YouTube. The timer-based version will have the full discussion at the end, which usually ends up being, like, the length of the show, if not more. It depends on how much time I spend actually talking about it, but, you know, that's what I care about, is more the discussion part than the reaction part, so stick around for that. Or you can go and watch the picture-in-picture version, again, links in the description, and find it there. And that's just easier, I think, because it's just already done for you. But if you would like to, for example, full screen your own copy of Kyoukai no Kanata Episode 1, and minimize my ugly face, but you can still listen to my commentary, you are totally welcome to do that. There will be a beep timer right here at the beginning of the video, and it will go boop, 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 beep, red, yellow, yellow, green, and on the green light and the beep is the exact same frame edited up and synced up in post by me that will allow you to just, like, either listen to it and then hit your button, or, like, watch it and hit whatever works for you. You can figure out a way to hit the button at the right time. Okay, and then there will be a timer running through it, and it'll stop, and then we'll talk about the episode. Cool, that's the whole format. Great. If you would like to do the timer thingy-majiggy, you're welcome to do so. Get your copy of Kyoukai no Kanata. I should tell you which version I have. I grabbed the one that has the most seeds on Nya, which is the website that is the sound that a cat makes, and is also a major torrent hub for acquiring anime and stuff. If you don't know what that is, you're living in the past, my friend. Yeah, I grabbed the Akihito subs version. It's pretty easy to find if you just type in, like, Kyoukai, you'll get it. That's the version I have. I've got episode 1 up. Let's get into it. Beep timer coming at ya. Boom. Hey, we are zooming in and down. Okay, that's a start. Downward angle, downward angle. Definitions. Thinking. Very Hyoukai-y. What was that? Was that something magical? What happened to that bird? This is a cool shot. That's cool lighting. Okay. Okay, syncing up these 2 characters. Why? What is your fundamental reason? Oh, god damn it. Fuck you. Is she? Okay. Identifying characteristics. Oh, he's metaing already. And you, as our self-professed protagonist, you'll do nothing. Okay. Are we Monogatariing right now? It feels like we're Monogatariing right now. I feel like she's not trying to kill herself. I don't know what he's saying. That's fine. Ah. Priorities. Oh. That's... Yeah, I agree. Oh. Wait, what? What? Yeah, you, okay. I'm sorry. I have, can we in media race this a little bit? I don't think he picked a fight with you, dude. Why are you stabbing me? Is he fine? He's just fine. Why is he fine? Or why are you fine? Are you supposed to be fine? Yeah. Alien, maybe. Yeah, okay. So the whole feet linking and... Mirai, Mirai. Mirai, Mirai. Oh, we did that again. So we're first-person POV on our... Okay. Bruh. Okay, OP! In the first step. Don't always get that. And... There we go. Okay, tunnels, lights, at the end of the tunnel. And what's out there? Photo... Family? That's very striking. Very colorful. Oh, that's a character. Yeah, okay. Haven't gotten a good look at, like, eye designs yet. Action shots! What is the magic? Supporting one another does go, yeah, uh-huh. I see some pretty sick shit here. That was a really cool rotating shot. Okay. Not really rotating, it was only a 5x. Oh, we have 2 flowers, red, white. Red, white. Both of them... Not camellias? Magnolias? No, not magnolias. They have more... Doesn't matter. We'll figure it out eventually. Okay. There's your red. Okay, that's why we're meta. That is not the voice actress that I would have casted for this character, but she works. Why the butt? Oh well. Hey, there's an angle. So wait. They're selecting stories in a story that was then selected by the KyoAni, like, selection thing? This is super meta. Oh, hey, moving through depth of field. A lot of... Okay, we just got very moe. That is totally alright. Is this pre-murder on the roof? Or post-stabby on the roof? Probably not. Yeah. That was a fun little camera move. Is that her... That's her catchphrase? Okay. This must be post because they didn't know each other. Okay. Was she Tsuna about wanting to murder him? That's... I'm sorry, what was the actual word that she used there? For shadeling? Yomu. Alright, we got a bit of a star-crossed. A spirit hunter? God, my notes page is filling up real... Oh, God. I like her Dojiko better than I like Rika's Dojiko. Woto. Woto. Again, the Monogatari vibe. She was completely in control of the camera right there. I have to write down a timestamp. Woof. Wow. All right. I was about to ask what the mission was, but okay. I've been sucked in. I mean, kind of. Probably not. Definitely not. Okay. Info. He's a fool. You're very into him and you want him to stay away from her. I get it. They're also bigger. Wow, that was a bunch of shots. Nope. Yep. You follow me home. Oh, yeah. That. It's an interesting cut frame. Sounds kind of like exactly what you're trying to do to this boy, but okay. Alright, that's fucking cool. Okay. Sure. I don't think he really wants to fight you. He's just gonna let you stab or yeah, okay. Oh, I see. Seems like a good move. Yeah. Yeah. Woto. So she's like a master acrobat, except also a complete dojiko. These are very fun dynamic shots. And to manage the, like, level of lighting quality that they're doing in these shots, that's a lot. She could just catch anything between her feet. Okay, great. Superpower found. Again, Monogatari vibes. Again, okay. Is there, like, an art director crossover going on here or something? Like, what is happening? That's not gonna hold, dude. She's gonna, yeah. Alright, she's the cutest. I gave it to her. Yeah, alright. Yeah, okay. Fucking hell. Alright, perfect. Let's go get some fucking snacks. Let's go. Stop trying to murder me, please. It doesn't work. What's that? That's the real deal. Hi, Dad. You're late. I figured. Has she ever actually fought one of those? She hasn't, has she? Okay, hi. I am hot for teacher. Okay, I did not say that. I may have said that. Oh my god. Maybe start running now. You mean the everything cleaners. Is that teacher? Or mom? Or... Okay. Oh, cool. Not a teacher. I'm still gonna write hot teacher. Figured. Well, what is the difference exactly? Right. Right. Okay, that makes perfect sense. And he's half done. Okay. So you're just using him for practice? Okay. Yeah. There's nobody in here. Hey. Oh my god. Where they have like a serious like Mexican place here. They've got fucking mole. I love mole. Hey, if there's mole, I'd mooch. You don't murder him. So can we just make that a consistent thing and then you don't try to kill me anymore? Unless you take me to dinner. Because I asked you not to? Come on. Uh-huh. Whoa. Oh. Ooh. We got grief seeds. So this is a fully integrated magical realist world. Oh, okay, bye. She just right behind that thing? Oh, she's right over there. Okay. Please don't murder me tomorrow. Yeah, what's our family life like, dude? It doesn't exist. Got it. Hi, friendo. Okay. Oof. I don't think you're bullying him. I think you're just that snarky type who's really trying to flirt real hard. Okay. Never, never, ever. Don't skip foreplay. Yeah, you maintain the status quo. Because yeah. Okay, this seems like a threat now that you don't want to. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. All right, never mind. I do not know how to take her character anymore. Never mind. All right, this is just gonna be the thing. What a strange color palette for Sakura blossoms and stuff. It almost reminds me. Okay, never mind. Oh God. Oh no. Now, what's her home life like? That's maybe enough of an answer. Are we Monogatari now? Okay, catchphrase established. Mm-hmm. Well. I mean, okay. Okay, yeah, no, I'm into that. Yeah, 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 yeah. Shut up. Yes, you do. I don't mean that, but like, okay. Oh! Ah, you gotta make money. Hmm. Mm-hmm. We can find communion in our differences. Yeah. Solid. Okay, 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 okay. Well, that's a solid set. Okay. Yeah, it's super clean. Like, empty clean. Oh. Oh. It's haunted. That's pretty fucking cool, man. Siblings. Oh boy, this is too much to actually convey what's going on. Hold on. Are we fading? Yeah, we are. Okay. I instantly like the CD a lot. This doesn't feel like a Yamada ED. She does a lot of the EDs. This doesn't feel like one of them. It could be, but it doesn't feel like it. Figured that they're siblings? I'm not sure. Okay. No, 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 no. Mm-mm. Okay. We did it. Okay, I'm gonna need a minute, partly because I hear like a helicopter or something going by, so gonna take a second. Okay, I've taken a minute. I want to say two separate sets of things. One is just an overall value judgment, and that is that I think this is an excellent episode one. The second thing is a bunch of, I think, less value-y and more objective-y statements. I think that this episode is quite dense, that it is full of extraordinarily rapid conveyance, really effective exposition, and multiple effective, to me at least, pretty instant hooks that get me interested in this world and these characters and this show right off the bat, pretty immediately and very effectively. I don't know how I want to approach the rest of this discussion. I've been sitting here for a couple minutes trying to think of how to do that. And I just don't know. I just don't know. There's too much, and I've written down too much, so I need more time. Sorry. Ooh, where's that? I made a list. I made a list on a piece of paper, and I don't know where I put it. I need to look for it. Wow, I feel the fool. Just a couple weeks ago, I wrote out a list for expressly this purpose of things to discuss in an episode one when you feel overwhelmed by the number of things to discuss in an episode one. So at least you have at least I have like a block of things that I can look at and be like, oh yeah, let's discuss that. And then I lost it because I put it on a piece of paper and then promptly lost it. Fuck. So I'm gonna take some time. I think actually this is a terribly weird thing to do and not the best idea, but I think the best way to go about this is to just rewatch the episode and to stop it and talk about things as I see them. So that's what I'm going to do. It'll be weird. we'll play it by ear. I haven't done this kind of a discussion for a good while, but hopefully it'll result in good things. We shall see. But that's what I'm going to do. So, welcome to an incredibly chopped up little, like, scene-by-scene run-through. We'll probably get to some more overall feely discussion a bit later, but here goes. Okay. First 5 seconds. Let's talk about the first 5 seconds, because they're pretty neat 5 seconds. Sky. Ethereally music. Whooshy, whooshy, whooshy into feet. Yeah, yum, 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 yum. Boom, as soon as we wipe there. And then immediately our character hits us with the opening line, Jisatsu, suicide. Whoa. And then we immediately draw a like physical and spatial relationship parallel between her feet, his feet, and we are immediately clued in that these two characters are on a collision course. That's a lot for 6 seconds. I mean, maybe I've seen some denser 6 seconds of animation in my life, but when it comes to like the opening 6 seconds of your show hitting you with a lot, that's a lot for 6 seconds of a show. Yeah. And then immediately after that, we get this sweeping shot of what looks like a very normal world. Pretty fucking normal. We got houses and things. It's obviously a CGified shot. That's all cool. And then these bird things fly around and hit a gigantic boundary, which we just sort of catch. But it's kind of weird that we catch it because we're being continuously kind of misled and made to wonder whether we're actually seeing anything in these opening moments. Because we get a very similar little flicker of light here, and then we get that flicker of boundary here. Ka-chunk. And only if you really, really look here do you realize that those are not birds. Those are something else. Oh, okay. Which leads us into this enormous sweeping digital shot with her hand-drawn and gorgeous lighting, which is like one of the first things that I noted. Generally, the outline work around her is very distinct, mostly because her entire hair and head has entirely pink, like very light pink outlines. Let's save that for later, cueing us in that this is meta and in media res and interesting. Then we get our immediate situation of dude wants to catch or stop girl from dying and does something about it, which makes me feel Monogatari vibes like in a big way, especially once we cut to the outside of the school somewhere. There's a shot that makes me feel more like that. There, yeah, here. I get that vibe here mostly. Okay, classic Kyoani running stuff, and here we sort of get into our first character hooks, which on his side are, he's really into glasses girls, and says a pretty goofy line that, like, also is fine and kind of cool. And we do get our first, like, good look at the eye designs, which are relatively complex, which I think is a generally good thing. This, like, circle with the little dots or little slash marks or cross marks in it is pretty interesting. We'll see how they utilize that over the course of the show to create emotion. Beyond that, pretty standard looking character designs from KyoAni. I think her character design is pretty iconically cute. And very likable. And then it is, of course, solidly horrifying when she then pulls out a blade made of blood and attempts to kill him. That's just a lot. That's just a lot real fast. But hey, you know, cute girl with glasses just fucking backflips over a 6-foot+ tall fence. And now we understand that, yeah, no, magical realism for realsies, this is normal in this world, but also entirely not normal. And we just nail a bunch of scenes and sequences that strike us with, like, intrigue at this girl with this sword doing this thing, and then we demonstrate her little bit of fear. Boom, 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 character hooks. There's more to this than there appears. And she also just stabbed Boyo in media res. We have no idea what's going on. Holy fuck, please let us know what's going on. But then he's just like, okay, and that's pretty interesting. She says a line that's pretty clearly indicative of a person trying to live up to something and not actually living up to that thing. basically, like, you read that from some shonen protagonist and are now repeating it kind of a line. It's just too right on the nose, you know? Especially after the little shiver and shake that we got of her hand. There's, again, a lot being conveyed very quickly here, and it works really well. And in the same note, conveyance, dude's immortal. Now you know. Now you know. He's just kind of casually being casual about it, besides being in incredible pain. And that's our entire intro. Whoa, that's an odd introductory sequence. Wow. Okay, into OP. There's probably a lot of symbolism in the OP that'll make sense later, but let's go through it anyway, because that seems like a good idea. Rain, glasses, that gives, it's just big mood. This gives a full-on vibe. Okay, flowers. What are these flowers? Because we see two of them, and they're definitely, like, something to do with our two characters, I think. Tunnels leading to light. Pretty clear symbolism of something, and she is the one in that tunnel. She did say that, like, her whole clan was wiped out and stuff. I wonder if her parents are dead. I'm gonna assume that... Those don't look like adults, though. Those look like two friends. And she's in the middle. Yeah, okay, she's definitely in the middle, because we can see the tips of her pinkish hair. Yellow Ribbon Girl and Pink Flower Girl. I think these are both female characters that she's holding hands with. And I assume that they're both fucking dead. Because that seems to be the assumption to make. Oh god, hair, stay where you are. It seems to be one of the assumptions I could make. I don't know if it's true. Boom, vibrant light, and welcome to the world. This is just gorgeously striking shot. The deep violets and blues and the golden yellows, this works super well. A number of shots in Chunibyo try to use this same kind of color scheme and do it fairly effectively. None of them struck me like this one. This one's just really solid. And then the next few shots just feel nostalgic and normal to me in an odd way. I don't know why I feel that way. Something about the mirrored shot on the street corner mirror and the general color palette and things makes everything feel quite normal. Okay, so we do frame those two characters together in the first time that we see them in the OP as they cross this train track. I get the feeling that they're in the same family. They seem to be... We'll have to go through the ending sequence, because there were a bunch of snappy cuts that implied things, and I'm not sure what they all were or what they all implied. And I will call that a mild gripe. There are a couple of sequences in this episode that in part I might have missed because I was talking about things, and in part I might have missed because they weren't terribly clearly conveyed. I'm not sure how to balance out which is kind of why I'm doing this more conclusively full run-through of the entire episode. So, we'll see. Beyond that, this is a pretty like normally feeling Kyoani OP. If anything, I would call it like kind of close to like not close to the Tamako OP, closer to like no, I don't really know what to make it close to. It just has a lot of vibes that feel... Actually, no. You know what it feels like more than anything? It feels like the Sorayori OP to me in certain ways. With the shots of characters walking around. Now that works for K-On! Okay, I don't know why I'm trying to associate with something in particular. I wonder what her pinky ring is about. Does that have to do with her ability to prick herself? Like the Kill la Kill Beyblade Let It Rip zip tie thing? Or is it something else? But we clearly see that she has a struggle over her bloodline and her heritage and things. Okay. On the other side, some action shots that we move into for OP-ness, because it's an OP-ness. Great. That's a thing to say. So this dude is clearly powerful. He has green eyes, though. I wonder if he is actually related to her. Maybe he's not. He has green eyes. And he just seems to, like, rip a barrier? Or he rips some... I don't know what he does here. But it's cool magic stuff, and he does it. She does it too. Big explosions. Gotta love them. Different character. Some kind of goateed mentor character. She has this gigantic, like, glaive thing with spikes on it. This is a very centered meditative lady who uses talismans of some kind. Cool, cool. Very neat explosionification. Similar to what we saw in Dragon Maid and some of what we saw in Chunibyo. Closer to Dragon Maid, I'd say, but a lot more emphasis on it. And then there's this scene that we see just like a flash through the flames. Reminds me very distinctly of the particular flash through the flames in Violet Evergarden. I wonder which character is embracing which character in this moment. I'm assuming that that's our main girl and potentially main guy embracing in the flames. Sort of the world is burning around us, but we have each other situation, perhaps. Not sure. I think as a more general note, I think all these action shots are really cool. And we get this great rotating-y flyby-y shot of him jumping presumably into something hellish, which is kind of cool. And then we flash through a bunch of things, which I don't know how to read. Oh, that's where we were taking the photo. That's where we took the photo that she's holding on the train. Those are the 3 characters that she took it with, and a big fucking mansion. Adoptive parents? Foster home? And it seems way too well kept to be like a foster home, but I really don't know. Okay, dude in corner does not seem to be as much of an antagonistic presence as I maybe vibed off of him. That's fine. That's cool. Dynamic of this particular club room is the thing that actually sells me more than the opening sequence, but we'll get to that when we get to it. 2 flowers, very different. Kotoba. I am having trouble finding a 5-petaled flower with stamen that look like this. I think the closest thing that I've found at this point is the azalea, but the number of petals is wrong. If anyone wants to Hanakatoba-ify this kind of a flower and let me know if it has any deeper meaning, let me know. If not, then I'm just going to take it as, like, these are our 2 characters and they're different, but, like, they're the same. We'll see. Maybe we'll see. I mean, it comes along with lines like, I think the next line is something about we hold each other up and stuff. No, just by losing my way, I found you. The lines about holding each other up were earlier. Cool. Cool, cool. So she's stepping off a train in a station while he's waiting by the station for her, I assume. And then this reflection of the moon. But this is flipped, right? Like, the ripples in the water tell us that this is all flipped. So it's a matter of perspective, and it's reversed. And then we get all of these flowers. They're the same flower, but, like, blood red, blood-soaked. In a way that these aren't. Like, even the red one here is not like that. These flowers, there are no leaves. There are no, like, white tips on the stamen. It's just blood red. So this is mood setting for sure. Cool. Bam, wham, bam. Okay. And immediately we are in a meta discussion of how to keep readers interested. We talk about not just using brutal bloodiness, but instead, Okay, I'd also like to make a comment on this character as it's her introductory sequence, and I think that we could say pretty fairly that the purpose of this sequence, more than anything, is to introduce this character and her relationship to Main Boy. More than it is to talk in any meta sense about writing or anything like that. And by doing that, we do get a lot of context and a lot of, I don't know, a lot of stuff that's conveyed to us. But I'd like to make a particular note about her character design, which is her eyes. I talk in a lot of my more recent videos in episode 1s about characters' eyes as we start to see them. Hers are really unique because this archetypal character, long flowing black hair, attractive figure, pretty girl, head of a club, is just like archetype, student council president type, right? You have seen this in any visual novel, eroge, anything that you've played in a whole lot of high school-based anime. It's an archetype. And often these characters will either be like entirely open and pretty fun, and like okay, but then they keep a prim and proper exterior, or they're What's the main girl in? Oh, I forget the name of that show. The one with the dude who sucks a bunch. He sucks a bunch. Is it Snafu? It is. Yes. Yeah. Yukino Yukinoshita, the beautiful ice queen. Right. And then she'll often be contrasted with like a childhood friend, bubbly, energetic Genki girl type character, which seems to be the setup here, right? We've got our Dojiko super moe girl, pink hair, bubbly and stuff girl, and then we've got this character. And so what we would expect from their eye shapes is we would expect Miss Megane to have fairly wide, like Tarame eyes and be more like open and bubbly and stuff. And we would expect this character to keep her eyes about the way that they look in this particular frame, which is why I'm paused on this frame. This is about what we would expect. These are classic Tsurime, and when she opens them wider, we would expect them to remain classic Tsurime, just a little bit wider. That is not what happens. As soon as he says something interesting, her eyes open up into Tarame. Who the fuck is this character? Like, the openness of her eyes speaks to the contrast of her actual character identity. It's pretty interesting to me just to see that one little bit. And it occurs as soon as she goes to how would one write a murder questioning, regardless of the context of that and whether she's trying to, like, bait him into saying anything else. I think she's just actually interested, and I think that we're just seeing her being genuinely interested. But the same does not occur when she berates him for flipping through the pages of the books, right? It doesn't change that way. She doesn't actually care. And that leads into the line where he says, like, there was no respect in what you just said, though, so what are you talking about? Okay, I am unclear whether this is the first moment that she chooses to control the camera. And then again, this is a Monogatari-esque thing, but there's a lot of gaziness and like very intentional use of gaziness in her character moments. We'll get one a little bit later that's very distinct, but this moment, I think when we tie this to her later statements about him being into any girl with big boobs, makes me think that she is very distinctly and intentionally stretching her chest in front of him. I know that might seem weird, but I think that this is an intentional character moment that is trying to demonstrate something, and I'm not sure that it necessarily conveys it, but it's like the first hint into things that we will get later, and we'll talk about those when we get to them. But I just want to see that idea and like let you have it. Okay. All right, and then we start in on interesting framing. I think up until this point, our framing has been pretty straightforward, right? We've got establishing, over the shoulder, under the arm, shoulder, but it's basically just over the shoulder, back and forth. It's fine. It's shot, reverse shot. More like context things, little sideways, wide. I guess that's a little bit of a different shot, but it's basically from his perspective. Over the shoulder, flip to over the shoulder but closer, and then that one cuts the entire thing up because it's the first one where she's the only one in frame. It's not the first one. The other one was where we were in his gaze almost clearly. Right here. I think we're in his gaze at this point. Yeah, we are, because we cut back to him there. But then she's framed here, and we are not in his gaze. That's actually really interesting that we're not in his gaze for this shot. It's not that interesting, but it intrigues my, like, how do you shoot things sort of mind. Because I think there is enough thought being put into every framing in this episode that it makes sense to go through them and actually think about why they're being done the way that they're being done. Because I think they're all being done intentionally. I get the vibe from this episode that it's a very intentional episode. So maybe I'm reading too far into things. Maybe not. We'll see. Little jokey jokes. Our first from the corner classic Kyoani in a classroom type of shot. Made most popular by the K-On! You know? And it all kind of naturally flows into Kuriyama Mirai. Again, eyes wide, down into Tsurime. Very interesting what they're doing with her eye shape. Okay, and then here's our Genki Dojiko. she seems like a pretty classic Genki Dojiko at first glance, and then the episode does quite a bit of work to ensure that we realize that this character has more depth to her. I think that's really important. Um, Similar things. Okay, I can't help but feel a bit of a parallel line here between the introduction of the male and female lead of this show and the introduction of the male and female lead of the Chunibyo. Partly because we start with boy thinking in own boy head about own boy things. Boy sees girl on higher place. Weird thing happens between them. Boom, now they know each other and it's weird. But they get through it. And then also that she is the more chuny of the two, and he's like, dude, just be normal, stop it. There are familiar elements in the dynamic. That's not to say that the dynamic seems to be, oh, it's just Rika and Yuta. It's the same. It's obviously not. But there are elements here that feel like that, except that they all do it better. I don't know. There are so many elements that do it better. And then we're just slamming a bunch of KyoAni things into this opening sequence thing. That one angled shot in the corner of the room on the library or literature club people into this shot of a character moving through space and around objects toward the camera. Very classic. And then boom, moe. The moe just occurs. Okay. Boom. So yeah, Tarime, hardcore curving down. Tarime is her eye shape. That's what we got, and she also has the rings and the other stuff. Okay, cool. She's pretty cute. The light pink outlines for all of her hair and things give her a softer vibe and a more of a Genki girl Dojiko impression, but not the bright and bombastic version. More the cute and holding herself together kind of version, which is exactly the vibe that she gives off. She's got her biggish sweater thing that, I don't know, maybe she feels more comfortable in it. It doesn't seem like most of the students are wearing lots of jackets and stuff. She seems to have some kind of emotional attachment to that one. Or it's just her character design. I don't fucking know. And we need to demonstrate that this girl cute, and we do a pretty good job of it. This is also our setup for this girl cute, but also this girl can literally trip over anything, and that seems to be more than her ability to manifest a gigantic blade made out of her own blood. That seems to be her real superpower, is just if you put literally anything in her path, she can find a way to get her feet caught up in it and fall flat on her face, because that's cute. And I do think that's kind of cute. It works. It's a weird thing, but it works. I think it works here in a way that a bunch of Rika's weird, chuniness kind of didn't. Anyway, bada bing, a bada boom, she tries to put herself together and play it off. And then we again demonstrate our propensity and ability to do this kind of pretty solid slapsticky, jokey joke, KyoAni-esque humor. And we weave all of that KyoAni-esque humor into the horrific elements of the episode and the general storytelling and conveyance in a way that I think flows pretty extraordinarily well. That we can just go from that conversation with the literature club lady person into this conversation that gets very cute and then very jokey and then transition from there into, oh gosh, I forget which scene is next. I think it has to do with her murdering him every day, and also establishing her catchphrase, which will be a thing. Okay, she does the cutes. She does them a lot. Great. I'm gonna return to just watching. Just as a side note for this sequence, we do a lot of exposition in this sequence, and we do it through these characters yelling things that both of them know at one another. This is great. I think this is really good. The situation here is that they know each other, and she's been stabbing him every week, and he's now yelling at her like, dude, you're fucking crazy for stabbing me every week. It doesn't work. I'm immortal. You're a hunter. Stop it. Hey, what did we just learn there? They know each other, they've been doing this for a week, and he's immortal, and she's a hunter person. That's a lot. That's a lot of information to convey really quickly in a dialogue, and it doesn't feel forced. Good job. Arguments work for this. They work really well. We also do the word is, it's not yokai, it's yomu, right? Yeah, it's yomu. Youmu. Is that used outside of the context of this show? I'm just going to Google Yomu. Yomu Spirit. It pulls up Kyoukai no Kanata as the first result. I'm looking away. Great. So I'm gonna say that that's just an in-world thing for the weird spirits that we have in this world. Great. And they're being translated as Shadeling, which I guess kind of works if we think of Yomu. I don't know what the mu part is, but the yo is probably the same yo as yokai, so spirit probably, I would assume. So Shadeling seems like a good portmanteau-y type of thing to do for that. Yeah, all right, I'm down. And again, more of the same type of exposition. I think it's pretty solidly effective. This works. And again, Spirit Hunter, Dream Shade, bada bing, bada boom. Okay, here we are. So I mentioned this a little bit earlier, where I was trying to wonder if she was effectively taking control of camera during this sequence. Blah, 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 ways of seeing, John Berger. Yeah, I think she does. I've gone and rewatched it a couple times. She's very clearly taking control here. How do I phrase this? The camera's purpose in this scene is to act as Akihito's gaze, and her purpose in this scene is to lead his gaze where she wants it. The first action that she takes is brushing her hair behind her ear, and now she has taken control of the camera. We go from a pretty bland over-the-shoulder shot, just like the ones we had before, straight into this, and then into lips. And lollipop, which she did not have earlier, I don't believe. She is also distinctly telling him what his dream is, and his dream is apparently her asking him out on graduation day, and she is using that not coming true as, like, a thing. He shows complete and utter shock at her saying that this is her dream, and then she banters back super fucking awesomely, did you want to be the one to ask me out? Because she really wants him to ask her out, you know? Whatever. And then immediately starts berating him again when he's too thick to get it, and says stuff like, oh, I guess you just like all the big titty bitches and it could be anybody, not just me, while simultaneously taking a more defensive posture. There's a lot in that little sequence that is just a lot. It's, yeah. And then we immediately take this, like, from above shot with him in almost an aggressive posture. It's, like, simultaneously aggressive lean forward and, like, defensive lean back. It's so weird. While we are clearly in a, like, looking down on him. It's pretty weird. I don't know how to think about that. And then we get the lollipop pop, which is like a thing, and like insta cues into thing, and then she uses it to obscure his head, and I'm not sure why she does that or how to deal with that. I just don't know. Okay. Also, again, we are in a kind of an argument, and we are expositing to us. Why don't you want that? It fucking hurts, dude. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. I like her. I like that character a lot. Ooh, that's a good point. I should look up her voice actress, because she sounds really familiar, and she does not sound like the kind of voice actress that I would have cast for an Ice Queen type of role, which is also another reason that I don't think this is exactly an Ice Queen type of character. There's more to her, and we'll find out eventually maybe what that might be. But let me go look up her voice actress. Minori Chihara. I have definitely heard your name. And I have definitely heard your voice. Where have I heard it from, though? Kaori in Hibike. Okay. Multiple characters in Lucky Star. Yuki Nagato in Suzumiya Haruhi. Wow. Erica Brown in Violet. Okay. She has played multiple, like, semi-main-ish roles in multiple Kyoani shows and multiple other shows. Cool. What about the main girl, Mirai? Risa Taneda. I think I know that name. Do I know that voice? She sounded familiar. But there are a lot of cutesy girl type of voice actresses out there, and some of them blend together in my brain. She's Ai Mizuno in Zombieland Saga, which I don't think is recent enough that I would actually recognize it. I do think she's pretty good, though. And I think her casting is, like, an obvious win on the casting decision front. It works. Damn, there's a lot here. Just this scene, there's a lot here. Anyway, why the hell is she so persistent? No ideas, no thoughts, no idea at all. And then he launches into this little mini monologue-y diatribe immediately after this shot. Koi. Playing it up a little bit, right? I think that's because the show is very clearly indicating that this is not the direction that it's going with the show. We're not going ditzy male protagonist with ditzy like cute girl doing cute things and misunderstanding each other constantly. This is gonna be a little bit more than that. And I think that the way that Nase reacts to that by just like casually closing her book, like no, dude. And then his face falls. I feel like that's just the show being like, hey, this is one direction that we could be going, and many KyoAni shows have gone in. We're not doing that. Nope. Nope. And I like it. And then there's this line, which is like the most classic, you are immediately going to get involved with this character further sort of line. It just, you know, it's like you're playing a video game and like there's some creepy dude and he's like, don't go into the woods. You're like, all right, heading into the woods. Let's go. You got any camping gear? Yeah, let's go woods. That's clearly where the plot is happening. Yeah, so we're gonna go get involved more with Kuriyama Mirai. And also, more exposition, but in this case, it's very distinct and specific and has the form of like a semi-veiled threat, or at least that she knows things that he doesn't, and is trying genuinely to give him some level of a warning. And it's pretty clear that she already recognizes that he's a fool. Multiple levels. Yeah, okay, so I, as the daughter of the Nase clan, and the Nase clan governs spirit hunters in this area. And then all of that comes back in the ending sequence where there's way too much going on, and I don't know what's happening. So we'll figure that out maybe eventually. Okay, boom, welcome to Orange Land. It is orange now because it's the end of school. Super nostalgia-inducing colors, and I really like this snap of establishing shots of the emptiness of the school. It gives a mood to the empty school. And little bits of sort of a horror-y thing going on here. I like it. And they banter. And she's a little bit more serious and a little bit less Dojiko-y in this moment. And the fact that she's got all these set up, like, warding baton things stabbed into the walls at the school, I think indicates to us pretty clearly that she's genuinely serious about this and is trying to be genuinely serious about it. Although, maybe she's not the best at doing that. She doesn't seem to have to, like, prick herself to bleed there. It just seems to happen. I'm curious about that. I'm curious what the deal is there. And we're about to launch into some fighty stuff, which is going to be some animation breakdown stuff, but we'll get there. This shot, right. Okay, this is a different form of exposition. This one doesn't need the trappings of a debate or an argument in order to not feel like it's weird, because this is stuff that Akihito does not know about Mirai, and so she's actually explaining something to a character who does not understand it in world. And she also doesn't think that he's gonna get it. And I think that that's really clearly indicated by this shot right here. This takes the form of almost a practiced explanation of who she is and what her clan is about and what they are capable of and what has happened to them. And the choice to exclude him entirely from the shot and indeed to crush her into the side of the shot speaks to me that she's like not really talking to him. She's talking effectively to the wall, right? That's literally what the scene says. She might as well be talking to the wall. But he's listening, and he's hearing her. And she's really surprised by that, right? That sounds awful. Really? I don't think it's anything out of the ordinary. And bada bing, bada boom, the promise of more depth to this character has been, at least, we've doubled down on that promise. There's definitely more here. I don't think that's anything out of the ordinary. That's a pretty horrifyingly pessimistic worldview. Wonder how that'll change as she gets to know this guy who's pretty alright. I think it'll probably change. Okay, we're gonna be talking about animation for a bit because we're about to get into combat, and that should be interesting. I need to watch because I need to watch through and see what I see, and then we'll talk about it. Cool. Okay, sword blood effects are neat. That's my whole take on the sword blood effects. They're neat. Now it's just a sword. This whole shot is pretty fucking neat too. Particularly the way that the background sort of slightly shifts. Gives it sort of an ethereal space, but also kind of grounded. It works. Also, the distinct, like, cut-off shadows that fill their faces at constant points, or cut across rooms. Again, Monogatari vibes. And no, we're gonna go through combat more, and we'll try and figure out Gatari vibes later. Okay, first I'd like to ask you something. Why are you so obsessed with me? And this immediately takes her off guard. She takes a step back, tries to steady herself, and is clearly kind of shaken by it. Mataku, and he just takes off. Great. Next shot that is cool is the, well, let's give some credit to good slapstick, where we see good slapstick. That's just good. That's just well done. I like it. I like it. Flying down the stairs, and then literally fucking flying down the stairs. The way that she moves is really unique and really interesting, and I like it quite a bit. I also really like the way that we do the immediately following shot, where she actually slashes down here and gets really close to us really fast. Eventually. Lots of cool things happening. Whoosh, boom. You feel the impact of it. After Effects as well. No dice. It's a pretty cool sequence. Even then. And it's just going to get better. Okay, sunset across lighting. Yeah, sunset across lighting. Just everywhere. Just everywhere. And that's not a bad thing. I think this is a pretty cool shot. As we discover her just, like, flying behind us. Horrifying. And she's kind of clearly pretty inexperienced. But physical, like, prowess makes up for a lot of that. Catches herself on her feet, still goes head over heels, catches herself again, and immediately starts running. Except bucket happens. So this is just a pretty cool set piece moment that I didn't think would be nearly as cool as it ended up being. He throws a bucket full of water at her. She slides with her blade out through it and chops it in fucking half. That's just sick. I have nothing for that except it's just sick. And then it's followed up by this really excellent spinning, rotating, straight into camera, panning up shot. It's just a lot happening really fast. And throughout all of it, and this is the thing that I want to be like distinctly clear about what I find impressive here. With the amount of motion going on frame, what is amazing to me is that we are consistent with all of the hair coloration, the edge lighting, the gradientification, and general correctness in light and shadow, and also just being on model for the character's design. Both characters, all the way through. High action sequence, lots of wind effects, lots of movement, lots of odd angles. See, even here, as she moves out from under the, like, the shade of the school, her hair lightens frame by frame as she gets closer to him and more in the sunlight. These are details that you don't consciously notice, but you unconsciously feel as, like, a part of the verisimilitude of the world, and the feeling that these things are really possibly happening and really possibly real. Again, even in these high action shots, there's a lot of effort put into all of the lighting. More on her because she's cute, mostly, and it matters more, but plenty everywhere. And really nailing these actiony set piece moments as well is important. And I think it does. I think it just does. And of course, undercutting all of the cool shit that you just saw her do with the fact that she can literally trip over anything, and that's her greatest superpower. Fuck yeah. Well played. Gosh, there is so much I love about this classroom standoff sequence. Okay, So we enter with her, having not seen Akihito come in and or hide. Very clearly, the main and best places to hide in the room are behind the podium, where there's no line of sight behind it, maybe inside one of the trash cans, and most certainly that locker in the back of the class. What we would not expect is for him to be actually standing behind the locker in back of the class, because it doesn't look like there's enough space there, but it doesn't matter. And so we are in basically a horror movie kind of moment. You enter the space where the monster is, not a monster, but where the monster is, and you're like clutching your weapon, like, gosh, where is it? You're holding your baseball bat, oh no. And then the monster bursts out and finds you after a distracting sound from somewhere else. Boom, get hit by the locker. And then we make the comment, what is this, a horror movie, as soon as she sticks her blade out of the thing, because that's such a classic horror movie thing. They're both horrified by each other in certain ways, and she's genuinely horrifying, leading directly into a complete undercut of that because she's goofy as hell and ultra lovable. Balance. Perfectly balanced, as all things should be. Horror, death, murder, and cuteness. The important things. All part of a healthy breakfast. And, oh yeah, the real monster. Real monster. Cool cut. Interested in, yeah, these smears and that frame. Okay. And then that's an added, like, shattery effect, which is pretty cool. Alright. I like it. I'm in. I'm down. She's hot. This is just a different KyoAni show that's happening. I would love to know when they actually come out with their running show that they're apparently making in the background of the Kyoukai no Kanata universe. Man, there is just something about a lady in a full office outfit kicking ass. Sweet. Gotta love it. This also further like reinforces the idea that the like spirit hunting and monsters being in this world are totally normal and everybody knows about them and everybody's cool about it. It's super normal. Just call the cleaners, dude. There are cleaners. And by cleaners, they don't mean like vacuum shit up cleaners. They mean the kind of cleaners that the mob boss calls to go and deal with something, right? But also the vacuum shit up part. But people get killed by monsters in this world. This happens, right? Otherwise there wouldn't be spirit hunters, right? Yeah. All right, that not the butt, the expression. That's a hard sell on that character, and it works. Okay, Nino, Spirit Hunter, boom, food, and here we are. Cafe sequence. Ooh boy. How do you do a cafe sequence without it feeling like a bad exposition dump? Well, like, you do it in the exact same way that actually sitting with somebody at a cafe is. It's a little bit awkward, and you're genuinely just talking about your feelings and your character, like who you are, and that's it. And that's what we do, and it works. There are a bunch of other things that demonstrate stuff about both of these characters. She's fucking hungry. Like, not just hungry, she's fucking hungry. And she eats her entire meal, and then orders more, right? Whether that speaks to not having the ability to obtain food on her own in general, which is entirely possible, or just that she used a lot of calories today, I don't know. Hide my abilities by distancing myself. Okay. This is a really powerful sequence in this cafe sequence. So we pan across the food that she's just eaten all of. And we cut to this shot, isolating her under the table, and she says, "Sora ni." Also, because what she's about to get into is the fact that she's been using him for murder practice, and that's probably not entirely cool, and she knows that's probably not entirely cool. So she's a little bit hesitant to broach it, and this shot also compounds on that, I think. And then, boom, out to the wide, and she looks all bashful and stuff. Aww. Aww. It's great. Reestablish how much she's eaten. This also works really well as a little undercutty slapstick, but on Akihito's part instead. Sure you did. Instantly there's somebody else standing literally right next to them. Excellent. 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 Either he didn't do that or he's incompetent. Or both, you know, whatever. Side note, mole? Like, really? I'm kind of hungry for some Mexican food now. I'm gonna see if there's a place near me that can deliver mole. Probably not. It's probably fucking hard to get a good mole where I am. We'll see. And yes, I am in Southern California, and yes, it's probably hard to get a good mole here. Okay, little moment of import that I think probably matters. There's a weird crystal gem thing inside the exploded monster thing. I wonder if those are super valuable. I assume that those are super valuable. Still never figured out why the title of the episode is Carmine. Just a side note, this guy with the weird finger gun slide out of frame, laid a bitch. I thought he was gonna be our like, hey, friendo, buddy, pal character. I really hope not. Not after the finger guns. Okay, I need to watch this entire scene. Aww. Aww. There's, like, actually a lot to that, isn't there? Okay, a sequence of lines. You make it sound like I stay cooped up in the club room all the time, which from what we've seen is entirely true. I mean, and also he's surprised that she's asked him to meet her in the actual cafeteria. Seems like not a normal occurrence. My immediate take on this was like, oh, she doesn't want to be seen with him. Doesn't seem to be the case. Well, you do. She seems indignant for a moment, and then, very well, I won't deny it. Indeed, I lead a pitiful school life where you, the guy famous for eating alone in the bathroom, are the only one I can bully. I think that was entirely true. I think she was being dramatically honest in a way that immediately and that she knew would deflect his attention toward the things that she was just saying about him, right? But what she just said there was like, I'm so pitiful that you're the only person that I can bully. And there's a pretty solid element of genuine self-pity there. Which, of course, he goes on and it's just like, you're making me out to be the most pitiful. Didn't you just make me out to be the most pitiful one here? And she full-on deflects. Doesn't even deflect, just non sequitur, down to business. Seems like there's something more there. She also puts on the big eyes for that moment. Boop. Okay. Can't we just skip the opening barbs for once? No. No, that is what makes your character interactions fucking interesting, dude. And, of course, the author knows that. Okay, Nase clan is wary. Rulers have always been conservative. Don't get involved any further with Kuriyama Mirai. We're still entirely unclear whether this is for some serious reason or because she doesn't want him to. I assume it's for a serious reason. But hey, I'm immortal even in the worst case. It's not like I die. And she leans in their closest character interaction so far, entering his space. I wish you would die. I have zero reason, like zero understanding of how to read that, given that she actually seems to be really into him. Mixed messages much? Maybe. Does he cause that many problems for her by his very existence? Did she say mission earlier? Wait, she did. Hold on. Yep. Okay. Mocking me may be your hobby, but I'll get mad if you keep it up. It's not my hobby. It's more of a daily routine, if you ask me. Though it may earn your ire, I can't abandon the mission I've been tasked with. She's his handler. She's his spirit hunter handler because he's half Yomu. And she's there to watch out and make sure that he doesn't do anything. Oh, shit. Staying away from Kuriyama Mirai may have something to do with that. It may be that getting close to a hunter or involved in any of those behaviors might cause his Yomu side to come out. And then she might have to kill him. Oh! Okay. I don't know if that's necessarily canon, but, like, there's something there. There's definitely something there. Okay, cool. which then would potentially indicate that she's not interested in him, but is instead forced to be here and chooses to engage in witty, flirty repartee because she literally has nothing better to do. Because she's here on mission. Okay, maybe. That's interesting. There's some interesting moments. Okay, lunch and color palette and stuff. I think this is the point where... Yeah, okay. There was a show that is burned into both my retinae and my memory that we watched, or that I watched like 2 minutes of the first episode of in one of the previous treasure hunts. I don't even remember what it was called. It was like a bad adaptation of an Otome game about cops and stuff. And the biggest worst thing about it was that the color design was horrifying. And one of the things that was super like painful to look at in the color design was this sort of balanced orange and purple sort of situation going on. Which if we go back to the wide, you'll see there the pinky orangey, the pinky purpley stuff, and then the orangey sunny stuff. There's a fine line with this color palette, and I wouldn't know that if I hadn't had my eyes burned out by a terrible show that did this terribly. There's a fine line in this color palette to make it actually work, and they made it work. So, hats off, big props. The murals that are here are all of that one variety of spirits with the flowing capey thingies. I'm gonna look those up. They're tenin. Divine spiritual beings found in Japanese Buddhism, similar to angels, nymphs, or fairies. Colored or feathered kimono. Yeah, okay. They just exist. They're just spiritual. I don't know if there's anything relevant about this. That's totally okay. You don't have to be hated everywhere you go, but that's really sad. I really wonder what she's posting that like... I can't believe you actually said that. Lol, I lolled at your profile. www. Ha 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 ha. What the fuck? What does she even post that makes it that awful? Oh, right. Why don't you just eat at home? Clearly there's a reason. It's because there's a yokai there. Yeah. Are we Monogatari now? This is like the most Monogatari thing that you can possibly do. Given that it's a literal, like... I wonder if I can just find the shot. Nah, it's not worth trying to find the shot. Yotsugi, Ononoki, like 24 times over the course of the Monogatari series, she says something, and then we cut to the googly eyes on top of her little like head hat thing, and they're just like there, right? Or some other character says something, we cut to some random thing, and it just like moves around, and we use like inanimate objects to represent characters having certain emotions, just like we do right here with Boom Googly Eyes in Megane. Okay. Also, how did she get a little squid hot dog on her? Yeah, okay. Okay, she's just eating. She tossed her entire lunch up in the air? I guess so. She's very cute. Okay, there's a yokai there. We're gonna get into it. Boom, 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 boom. Flashback to something. I am scared. For reasons. Blood seemingly on her hands? Unclear. It's meant to be entirely unclear. I'm terrified of taking lives, which makes him a perfect punching bag. Why don't you quit? And she can't. She's too abnormal, but we don't know why. This is an inevitability for her because of her blood, just as his life is inevitable for him because of his blood. And then we lead that into the, I would say, climactic and pivotal character moment for this episode, which is when she has just screamed her vulnerability to him and he reveals his to her. Hey, guess what? In a world where each of us is entirely different from everybody else, we can find some kind of mutual compassion and respect in both being different. That's good. That's just good stuff. It's just nice stuff. I like the nice stuff. It is the nice stuff. It is good. Okay, room and house and stuff and flicker and spooky and scary and full horror tropes on display. Whipping out the blood stuff. Again, the blood magic is dope as hell. Weird creature. And then at this point, we just get so many flashes of so many things that I just need to watch through it and try and piece it together. Side note, the transition into ED is fucking awesome. Bringing it in the way that they did and cutting off hard cut right after she says Yomu is excellent. Just this moment right here. Already bringing the ED in. It's pretty fucking dope. It's pretty excellent. Okay, flashes of things though. Bunch of cool cuts. The one where she stabs forward here, but then there's one where she like does a spinning thing. We cut to her being seemingly worried about some occurrence that she may or may not know about. I don't know. Slash spin, very cool. Cut to these two. So this guy, Scarfy guy, does not seem to be in the same location as Nase. Maybe the same family, unknown. Character who's standing in front of him seems to have sent him on something. He turns away from the camera in that moment as we follow that motion of turning into this, which is a really cool design. This character smiles creepily as though they've set this up and are intentionally doing it. It's a trap, and Nase knows that it's a trap. They are the organization of spirit hunters. They brought this Yomu here, didn't they? In order to either kill her or kill him. Probably to kill her. Nase may actually be distinctly and intentionally trying to protect him from a trap that he might get himself sprung into. Ooh, I'm real confused about her character now. We just need more information. I don't think we have the info that we would need to make any call like that. I think that there's too much family resemblance between these three characters to ignore, but she has brown eyes. And he has green eyes. It might not matter. And then cut into ED. Okay, ED imagery, lots of flowers, different kinds of flowers from the OP's imagery. Unknown if they have any particular meanings. I think that the song for the ED is really awesome, and I think the visuals are unique and cool. I did look it up, and both the OP and the ED were unit directed by Taichi Ishidate, so he did those, and my initial thought that this does not feel like a Naoko Yamada ED was correct. Not that I'm terribly proud of that. Her EDs are pretty distinctive, and this one's pretty different. So she's reaching out toward some unknown idea, and then it solidifies once they eventually find their way and face each other. But there's a bunch of other shit, like the birds and a bunch of people walking together, but they're walking as though they're kind of zombified, like we're all on some kind of a path together, but I'm not sure. He seems to be walking solo, she seems to be walking solo. Reaching out through all of these environments until they come face to face. She has this realization that they are face to face. He just stands there, light comes over everything, and then we get the sequence of her actually smiling, right? No? Where was her actually smiling? I thought that was a thing that happened. Was that not a thing that happened? Oh, that happens before we see it's him that she's smiling at. It's just she smiles at us, and then it's him. Got it. Got it. Solid. Good. Cool. Did I miss anything from my previous notes? Chuni, Tamako free, blah, 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 blah. Photo of family in OP, Mirai Kuriyama, red, white. Got it. Writing a murder, Akihito, Kyoukai des, Fuyukai des? Fuyukai des. Right, her catchphrase. Murdered soon. Right, she's a tune about murdering him was my thinking there. Yomu, Shadeling, Spirit Hunter, 750 camera control, stay away from her as a classic thing. Nase Clan run shit, Bloody Blade of Blood. I literally wrote down Bloody Blade, ... of blood. Because it's not a bloody blade, it is a blade of blood, and that's distinctly different. Nino-san equals hot teacher. Thank you. Oh, grief seeds. Yeah, there are these, like, grief seed things. I wonder if there's any kind of, like, economic value to them, and how important they are. And if there's maybe some, like, I don't know, behind-the-scenes capitalist reason for things being fucked up. Things seem pretty okay in this world. Seems like things are running all right. I think the questions end up being, is the boundary that we're talking about the boundary that we see bird things flying up against? And if so, is beyond the boundary the outside world in a kind of an Attack on Titan, there are spooky things out there sort of way? Doesn't seem to be, because there seem to be monsters in town whenever the hell they want, so I don't know. And we haven't had, like, a distinct set of visual images that would demonstrate the boundary being some metaphorical boundary between these two people of different genetic heritages or whatever. It doesn't seem to be the case. It seems to be more like a legitimate, like, mage barrier. Or not. I don't know. It could be anything. Okay. So at the very, very beginning of this discussion, post-episode, I said that I wanted to make, like, one value judgment that I think this is an excellent episode 1, and then a bunch of other judgments. I think that we've gone ahead and we've expanded our more objective run-through of each of, I mean, way expanded, maybe too much, of each of the scenes and how they work and maybe how these characters function and maybe why we're shooting them in certain ways and maybe why we're doing certain things the way that we're doing them. I won't stand by anything that I've said. I'm kind of just vamping, but I think it should be pretty clear to you that I'm pretty damned intrigued by this show, by both the world and the characters and the motivations of the characters. Why are they, and what are they doing? Something pretty interesting that I do want to discuss briefly is this moment here, where we talk about how should one write a murder. I wonder if we are currently writing a murder mystery, or an attempted murder. Because if my most recent thought, which is that potentially her family has sprung a trap on this ostracized bloodbender, the last of her lineage, and she is going outside of her own, like, her mission in order to tell Akihito to stay away so that he doesn't die, then maybe we are exactly writing a murder. I believe readers place more importance on what the characters do and why. Stuff like, I just felt like ripping him to shreds is the kind of thing they hate most. And then we go on to have our most violent character in the episode, by far, who is Mirai, explain in pretty distinct detail exactly why she wants to try to kill him. One, I'm supposed to, and two, it's really good practice, man. While revealing, like, the potential for really interesting underlying motivations. Yeah. Alright, I see you meta-author being meta a little bit. I'm not entirely sure how you're being meta, but I feel it. I feel it. There's a lot here. Okay, the next thing that I want to do is look for some kind of crossover in staff between this and Monogatari, because there's too much here that vibes with Monogatari, and I don't know if that's just taking cues from, like, the most successful, probably, light novel adaptation that deals with supernatural events in high school, being Monogatari, and we're just trying to take some cues from that, or just general respect for the way that Gatari is directed, because I think it deserves that respect, or just maybe the, like, art director has worked on Shaft shows. I don't know. I'm gonna go glance at the staff list again, and if I don't come up with anything here, then we're gonna wrap pretty soon. So let me go glance at the staff list. I'm gonna have to go with a no. I don't see anyone on any major art direction or background direction-y typey roles that would make me think that there's any kind of crossover. I just wonder. I don't know. Something to think about. All in all, again, to reiterate my first point, I think this was a pretty fucking excellent episode 1, which makes me curious, given how I talked about how divisive this show seems to be. It makes me curious how far off the rails we will go and when, and how bad it's gonna get and why. If the production quality and general like eye for composition and thought put into the episode continues to chug along at the same pace that this episode does, I think it'll be really interesting to investigate the positives and problems with this show both, and I think it'll be worth watching either way. I don't entirely expect for all of that to occur, as episode 1s almost always have more effort put into them for obvious reasons. You gotta hook people with your introduction to your story. So we will just play it by ear with this show, watch it as we go along, and I will try to discuss in depth everything that I see and how we feel about it. And we're starting off real well. I saw a bunch of things in this episode, and I liked most of them. Almost all of them. Literally almost all of them. It's all pretty fucking good. In fact, I think my only real gripe with this episode is the flashes of things that we don't understand in the final scene, which is obviously meant to be kind of cliffhanger-y. Like, not only are we introducing elements of this world that you know are going to be elements of this world, but you don't know what they mean yet, but also you're into the first major, like, Yomu fight. It's here, it's a big skull, rappy thingy thing, and she's going to fight it. Oh shit, cool. I mean, maybe our dude is going to Hulk out half Yomu style and fight it too. I don't know. We don't see any powers or anything demonstrated by him in the OP or anywhere else, so who knows? Who can say? Who can... I'm sorry. I don't want to get copyright struck by Enya. I need to wrap. I've been Teeaboo. This has been Kyoukai no Kanata, or Beyond the Boundary, Episode 1. I genuinely and sincerely hope you enjoyed it as much or more than I did. I don't know how you can enjoy it more, as I thought it was a pretty fucking excellent Episode 1, but if you enjoyed it less, you can throw comments about why you enjoyed it less in the comments place where the comments go, and if you really enjoyed it and really want to see the next reaction to the next episode, it'll probably go up on Patreon sometime today, whenever you're seeing this on YouTube, so check that out if you want to, and for now, I'm going to sign off and edit the fuck out of this video. See you later. Peace.